watch this?
How?
Ew,
How do you watch this?
Dude, I'm gonna pee my pants.
Hi, you're listening to How Do You Watch This, a movie review podcast where each week we recommend a movie in the genre we love, but they don't. My name is Megan, and I love romance.
My name is Demi, and I love horror.
And this week is my recommendation for Demi based on the last movie she had me watch, Demons 1985. It was a choice. And this week I made her watch Phantom of the Opera. And I think there's a couple of common threads it could be. I want to know if you got the right one.
I feel like it has to be The Mask, right?
Yeah.
A man wearing a half mask?
Yeah,
because it was too good.
Yeah, it was just like, I was looking at options and I couldn't not do it. It was just
no,
perfect.
it's immediately what you think of. You think of Phantom of the Opera when you see a mask like that. And it's funny because Brett was like, what the hell was the thread between this and the other one? I'm like, it's The Mask. It has to be The Mask.
Come on,
and he's
bro.
like, oh my God. He's like, was it really a guy with a mask? I'm like, you don't remember that iconic man?
Tisk. I realized after it could have been theater. Theater could have been the common thread, but The Mask was what I was going for. So
yeah.
I'm glad you got it.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, as long
I
as
really liked it.
Yeah, okay.
It's a good thread. Good thread.
Thanks.
So, The Phantom of the Opera is a 2004 movie based off of the Broadway show.
Yes.
Don't know what year that came out, but I probably could have looked it up.
It's definitely at least the 80s.
Yeah.
If not.
Andrew Weber.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Because I know he wrote the script for the movie in 89.
Yeah,
so,
it took a bit, right, to actually happen? Okay.
Yeah, just like all things in Hollywood. It took forever.
All great things, yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie is a PG-13. It is 2 hours and 23 minutes. It is a drama, musical.
Very long.
Very long. Director is Joel Schumacher, who we've had on the podcast before.
Have we?
Crap, I literally had his stuff up.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I know you. Lost Boys.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, he did.
Oh,
Lost Boys.
interesting.
Variety of movies here.
As I was watching this, though, I was like, I'm pretty sure this is on our list somewhere of horror romances because it really has a lot of horror elements to it.
Yep. Definitely could be considered a bit of horror. There's death. There's
death. There's lots
grotesque
of
things. Anyway, and so that's the breakdown. That's just the little gist of the movie before I break it down. And I try to keep this short because I think there's a lot to talk about in this movie. This movie is very important to both of us. Iconic, and I'm still obsessed with this series. And I decided to, as I was watching, do red flags for both the Phantom and Raoul.
I love
So
that.
I will be mentioning what those flags are, and at the end, you can all decide if you are a Phantom or Raoul girl.
Are we going to talk about which girly we are at the beginning or end?
We can talk at the start.
Okay, because here's the thing. For years and years, I have said to you that with the movie, I was a Phantom girly.
Yes.
And I'm watching this movie back, and I'm like, I don't actually believe that. I don't believe that I was ever a Phantom girly.
Girl, okay, yes, because when I first watched this, I was absolutely a Phantom, and I think it was all Gerard Butler.
Yeah.
It was all him because he is so hot in this movie.
Yes, and youth. I think that being young and dumb means
the frontal lobe hasn't developed yet.
You're like, whatever, you can kidnap me.
Yeah.
Watching it back, I was like, this is terrifying, and it's an actual nightmare, and how could anyone ever fall for him?
It is true, and I became a Raoul girly, and then you were very against that for a while.
Yeah.
And
it's because I didn't watch it as an adult, clearly.
It's watching it back. Even Brett was watching with me, and he's like, people root for the Phantom, and I'm like, well, it's, the vibe he gives.
Dude, when you get to this part, I'm gonna tell you what Travis said, because he walked in and said it. I forgot to tell him that people root for the Phantom. I'm gonna have to see his reaction, because he had a very, very strong opinion.
All right. So let's dive in here. So the movie starts. We're at an auction at the Paris Opera House. and the opera house has been shut down. They're auctioning some of the props away. And one of them is a stuffed monkey dressed in this like Persian robes playing the cymbals on a music box. And there you see an older gentleman in a wheelchair. And you're not like, who is this old man? We'll find out later. And he's like, I want that. So he gets the monkey. And then the next item is this chandelier. And it's this beautiful, huge chandelier that had been broken but was repaired, and so they reveal the chandelier, and then the overture starts, and we're taking back to 1870. And so
and
the theater,
I loved that, like that way that they transitioned and the dust falling away. It was great. I can envision this being made in 2025 like better, but
yes, girl, I would love a remake.
Yes.
Oh my god, of all the reboots and stuff happening, this
needs to happen. And let me tell you, the number one reason why is because there was no freaking vocal training happening for this movie.
Girl,
the fact, dude.
Oh my god.
In this day and age, the fact that Gerard Butler never watched Phantom of the Opera before and then was hired for this role without having taken a single singing lesson.
And I will say he didn't sound awful.
No, he didn't sound awful. But only the Phantom only has 14 lines that are spoken. Everything else is sung. The whole movie, he's singing. And this man is not training. There is apparently a point where he couldn't hold the note long enough, and they looped it. And you can hear the loop.
There were times when he'd be singing, and I would just, like, mimic it because it sounded so bad. I was like, boy, find the note, please.
Oh, God.
And I remember when I was young, girl, I was like, oh my god, he sounded so good. And then now I'm like, what was I doing?
Because when you were young, you heard like 10 musicians in your life, and now
I don't know opera. I don't know what they sound like. Oh, yeah. It's a shame. Yeah, we would need truly just actual voices.
I would be so beside myself if we could get to the caliber of Wicked.
Oh my god, girl. It would. Oh my god, that would be the only thing I would talk about forever. I know. Forever till I die.
I know.
After death.
I feel like we need a little justice for the Phantom. You know what I mean? Like not like
they'd
the
probably
Phantom,
like cast Timothy Chalamet, something like that.
And he'd
right.
Just, like,
I love Timmy.
Yeah,
I love Timmy, but I'd ride.
Dude, I feel like. Oh my god, no! I'm sorry. I love Zendaya. It's just that
I do too. No, it's just they're over. She can sing and Timmy too.
She? Okay,
but I don't think this caliber. I don't think. I think
you need lungs.
You need lungs, especially for Christine and the Phantom. Everyone else, you can sing well and you'll be fine.
Yeah. And I also feel like we're coming at this bias. We are coming at this post watching the original Broadway. My opinions are so strong now. And
I did actually listen side by side.
I don't know how
soundtrack and in the Broadway to truly be like, how bad is it?
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's not the worst. It's really, really not. And I don't want to shame on them completely because especially Demi Rawson, she was 17 in this movie?
17.
I am impressed by her.
Right,
that
she did a great job. She did do a really great job.
Yeah. So, that's impressive for 17.
Sorry, we're like
anyway.
one line into the movie. All right.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Let's give it a long episode.
So many opinions.
Okay. So, literally, the chandelier goes up. We're seeing the theater come back to life. We're going back in time, okay? Mm-hmm. So we see rehearsals are underway for a new show. The current manager is leaving, and he hires new managers named Gilles Andre and Richard Firmin. French.
Sure.
The French attacked me again.
Yeah, I know. As I was listening to them, I was like, poor Demi. Yeah. Demi's going to be so upset.
They will be referred to as the managers from here on
out. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fine.
So, the new managers...
names, yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. They're just two guys. They're told that they need to give the Phantom a salary and keep the specific box open for him. And they're like, what the fuck does this mean? Yeah.
Which, by the way, I did look up how much that salary would cost. So, they said 20,000 francs a month. The year was 1870. So, If we are only considering inflation, that equals 4.2 million annually. However, quick caveat is that, you know, if we want to be a little bit more accurate with the fluctuation of the French franc and gold standards, blah, 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 it would be around $258,000 a year.
Okay.
Nope, sorry. Nope, it would be... Hold on. A month? No, there's no way. Wait. 20,000 francs would equal $250,000, but that's every month. So it'd be worth more?
I mean, their reaction was like, what? There's like,
hold on. Let
no
me do math
way.
really quick. Let me do math. I thought that was for the year, and I was just like, oh, I mean, $250,000 a year not to murder everybody, like, fair.
Yeah.
It's only $3 million. Okay.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's just a cool $3 million.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, and at this point, people believe it's like a ghost guy, just this mysterious figure.
Which also, I'm sorry, my brain was blacking out because I've been on for the past 24 hours. I was like, it's equivalent to $250,000 a year. If someone asked me for $3 million a year, if I was being blackmailed by a ghost, I would laugh it off.
I would be like, are you high?
No.
I'm not. And does it like save a specific box? That's
right.
Could be for someone else.
That's more
like,
money. That's the $3 million right there.
Those aren't cheap.
No,
but those are the rules. That's Phantom's wild.
The breaks. Yep.
So then we briefly meet most of the cast at this point. So we meet Christine Daae, played by Emmy Rossum, and she's one of the ballet dancers who's been basically raised by Madame Giry, who's played by Miranda Richardson. Christine's father passed away when she was younger, so that's how she came into
Seven. This is going to be important. 7.
Okay, thank you for that. I was thinking she was like 9. 7's worse. Okay.
7, yep.
Thank you for that. Okay. So she was raised by Madame Giry. Madame Giry has a daughter named Meg. They're best friends. And then we meet Raoul for a second. And Raoul is this nobleman, patron of the opera. Yeah. And Christine tells Meg that they were childhood sweethearts. Raoul's played by Patrick Wilson.
I know. When Travis was like, who's that? Because first of all, the Phantom came on. He's like, who is that? I was like, that's Gerard Butler. He was like, what? Like,
dude, it really is like,
yes.
Hello?
It stunned the man who can identify people from behind.
Oh, that's
like,
right.
He really couldn't believe it. And then he was like, well, who's this guy over here?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's Patrick Wilson. He's like, I don't know who that is. And then I showed him the picture of Patrick Wilson. He's like, I don't know who that is. And I was like, dude, we just watched The Conjuring at Halloween. Yeah. What do you mean? He's that so guy. High. Come on.
That's when Brett was like, oh, why isn't the thread like that guy? Isn't he in a bunch of those bad ghost movies? And I'm like, they're not all bad. But yes, you're correct. That is him. But that's not the thread. I wish it would have been a good connection to have Patrick Wilson.
If only you had known.
If only I saw to the future. It's fine. It's fine. Anyway, Patrick Wilson, he has this like, he has this long straight hair. He's like, put behind his ears.
It's so Lord Farquaad-y.
Clean it up.
I was just like, if you just had a little wave to your hair, please God.
Like a little something. He's still
cute, but it's just cute, from behind. It's just like the haircuts that I had in 6th grade. It's really
like
what
a wig.
It probably is.
It probably was, yeah. So Raoul is talking. We meet the lead diva, Carlotta, who's played by Minnie Driver. She's just the main star, and she's a diva.
Yup.
Thinks she's the best, and she does have a really great voice, but a lot of people think she's annoying. Yeah. And Raoul makes his way out, and Christine's upset that he didn't really notice her, and Meg's like, he didn't see you, don't worry about it. Good friend. Those Megs.
Us Megs know how to, hold our sister up.
Yeah. Keep me delusional. So, rehearsals are resuming, and Carlotta is singing the song Think of Me, and a stage prop falls on her. Yeah. So she storms out, refusing to sing. She's pissed off. She's like, this keeps happening. I'm done. So then... Yeah.
I don't want to get knocked out by falling shit either.
If weird things keep happening to me, I'd be like, you know what? This is fine. I could have died. She could have died.
Yeah.
So Madame Giry convinces the new managers to let Christine sing and take Carlotta's part. Mm-hmm. So she starts singing and she sounds really good, and it slowly transitions from her at like rehearsal to the actual show. She's wearing this beautiful white gown and little sparkles in her hair. She's so beautiful. Yeah. I'm just obsessed with her.
I know.
And so she's singing and Raoul's watching. He's like, "Can it be Christine? Oh, my love." He recognizes her finally.
Which I don't know if I would ever recognize someone who I last saw at 7 years old.
Yeah, I don't know. He recognized something.
Yeah.
Her vibes.
Yeah, her aura. He was like, there we go. That's Christine.
Can it be? I guess, too, they would have had her name written. Pamphlet, right?
No, they wouldn't have had time to print out pamphlets.
Oh, that's true.
With a new name. It's that night,
You are right. Okay. But he recognizes her because it's true love, apparently.
Yeah.
So, after performance, Christine goes down to the small chapel under the opera house, and Meg comes to find her, and she's like, "How'd you learn how to sing so good?" And she's like, "Well, let me tell you, girl."
My God, she's so Delulu.
She starts singing a song called Angel of Music, and basically says that her father always told her that an angel of music would come to her after he died. And this angel of music appeared and has been teaching her to sing since she was young and brought to the opera house at 7 years old. And
oh my God. Which, by the way, this is something they added in the movie, because in the play, he's called her new tutor. They do not imply that she has been groomed since 7.
Yeah.
This makes it so much worse. And no matter what, the age gap is always large between them.
Yes.
But this is ictastic.
It is
really bad.
It is. And I have words to say. I have so many words to say about this. But baseline is, we'll get into his backstory later, but baseline is they are at least 15 to 20 years apart.
Minimum,
Age difference, minimum. So you can do the math. So that's the first red flag for the Phantom, is that he had been grooming and tending to Christine since she was 7 years old.
Right, and, which is like, if it was purely platonic, and he was helping her learn how to sing, fine.
Right. Like a fatherly figure type of mentor.
That's not what's happening, though.
Yeah, and Meg's just like, okay.
Pause. Pause. I'm sorry. Your new glasses look gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
I can't believe I just noticed, but I was just staring at your gorgeous face, and then I was like, oh my God, look at that glow. Wait a minute, she never has her eyes outlined. Who is she? You look great.
Thank you. At first, I was like, oh, they're giving Jeffrey Dahmer. But...
No, definitely not. It's giving Jeffrey Bomber. No, that was horrible.
It's giving like librarian in the 70s.
Dude, it's so cute. The gold is just perfect for your skin tone. I love it. You're welcome.
I was devastated I couldn't get the heart ones, but
very sad. I can't believe. I mean, how dare they gatekeep for the girlies with bad eyes?
And I don't think I have that bad eyesight. Right. I have 3.25.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. When you get glasses, your number.
I know. I don't.
You don't know your number?
1.25, I think. It's not.
Is it? Oh wow.
Mine's not bad. No,
okay. So you probably could have.
Mine's like actually not bad. I could get the hard glasses probably.
Yeah. So Christine tells his story, and Meg's like, okay, what the fuck? Right. It is weird. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and also, how about when you're dying, don't tell your child that you're gonna come back as an angel of music, because
I
mean,
the father was a violinist, like.
Was he?
Yeah, he's like a famous violinist.
Fine. I guess in my mind, I was just like a random like carpenter. It's like I'll be this angel of music.
No, it was all
okay. Fine.
I'll allow
I'm always giving parenting tips when I don't have a child. Like, I guess if you guys want to be the angel of music, that's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. So then later on, Raoul comes to visit Christine in her dressing room, and they're recounting their childhood memories, and they just their spark is alive. They're just immediately like, oh my God, this is amazing. And he's like, we're going to go to dinner. And she's like, wait, the angel of music is strict. And he's like, no, we're going to go. And first of all, there's two wrong things here. Yeah. Raoul doesn't question what she's talking about. Yes. He's just like, no, we're going to go to dinner.
Yeah.
And two, she said no, Raoul. So that's a first red flag for Raoul. Yeah. He's like, no, we're going to go. I'm going to go get the carriage.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, I have to give a red flag because she did say no.
Yeah. She did say no, but her reason is
It's insane.
because she has an imaginary angel.
Yeah, imaginary friend that's like,
Yeah.
no going out with friends. So Raoul goes to leave to get the carriage, and then Christine, you see the Phantom's glove hand lock the door, and Madame Giry's watching. Madame Giry,
this fucking bitch.
she
I'm
knows the
sorry.
Phantom, and we'll get back to that, but
She is so problematic.
she is. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's basically your daughter. I would.
Yeah. I feel like
No.
she served him, she served Christine up on a silver platter.
Yeah, no, it is icky. I'm like, hi. How
Yeah.
do you like raise this girl and you're just like, yeah, this is fine.
Right.
No, not fine at all.
Mm-mm.
So, he locks her in the room, and then he shows up like in her mirror. And this is the second red flag for the Phantom because he has access to her dressing room.
Thank
through
you. I
the
have it
mirror.
written down. See-through mirror. When I realized this, it took me a minute. And then I was like, he's been watching her undress? This so creepy. So creepy.
Yes. And he's like pissed at Raoul. He's like, he's trying to take credit.
Right.
What are you talking
Dude,
about?
she thinks you're imaginary. Like,
Yeah. So he's like, come to me. I'm your angel
Right.
of music. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh my God, my angel. And
Yeah.
then he leads her through the mirror, and then the Phantom of the Opera, the main theme that everyone would have ever heard, yes,
so
starts
good.
playing, and it's so
Dude,
good.
this is essentially when Travis like walks in, right?
Okay.
And so first of all, when he asked me what I was watching, I like earlier what I was watching that night, I sang the answer because obviously I'm going to sing it in the song of Phantom of the
Right.
Opera. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize that was like a song from here." I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Well, like this metal band he listens to covered it, Nightwish or whatever." And I was like, Where'd you think this is from? Do you think they made a movie based on the song from a metal band?
I have to ask, has Travis recently had a lobotomy? Because I think there's so much happening with this man recently.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been a little ditzy lately. He's
my
so
God.
out of touch with musicals. He needs to get educated. Anyway, this is when Travis comes in, and
Yeah.
what you're about to go over, I want you to like pause, and then I'm gonna tell you what he said.
Okay. So basically, he takes her down the steps, they're singing together. There's a horse down there.
Somehow, magically.
Somehow this horse is alive.
This opera house defies all notions of sense. It's
Well,
like
that's what,
another
like,
world.
The candlesticks are being held by hands that are like moving, and Brett's like,
Yeah.
is this guy, is he magical? And I'm like, no. It's just what it is.
Just,
It's
yeah.
fine.
I was
It's
thinking the same
cool,
thing
okay?
too as I watched it. It's just a vibe.
Yeah, it's just cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Ignore it.
Like, why not?
And yeah, so they get this little horse trip, and then there's a little boat. They get
Yeah.
on the boat. They're singing the whole time. And they get to his room, basically, and there's candles everywhere, and he's singing to her still.
What else is there, Demi? What
He
else
shows
is there?
her a little diorama of the theater and like a little miniature of her there. It's like, oh, it's kind of cute. Then he takes her to this area.
Yeah, first of all, before we even move on, Travis saw this and he was like, "Girl, run! Girl,
Oh.
run! He's got a diorama of you. He's got a whole."
Yeah,
Yeah, go.
it
go
gets
ahead.
worse.
It gets
he,
worse.
he leads her to a little room, and there is a mannequin dressed like her
Dude.
in like a wedding gown, and she passes out. Christine passes out seeing this, which is a very fair reaction.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, so at this point, Brett also was like, so not only is he a pedophile, but
Yep.
he's fucking this mannequin. And I'm like,
I didn't think about
probably
that.
did. He's probably done
is.
things.
He's
like
never
that.
known human touch. He definitely has. He definitely has. Oh God. I was very focused on the trauma of seeing the sketches of Christine and
Yeah.
the diorama of her and like this obsession. And
Yeah.
Travis and I both were like, oh, that's so creepy.
Like, if it was just like a few drawings and that was it, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
Drawing me, that's pretty cool. The drawings with the diorama, like, it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's
a lot. It's stalkerish.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfy. Not great all around.
No.
So she faints, he puts her in this like swan bed.
Yeah.
And for some reason, and I don't know why, because I haven't seen this movie in years and years and years, I need to rewatch it. I always get this scene conflated with V for Vendetta. I don't know why. I have to do a rewatch.
Both men with masks.
Yeah, men with masks and
I've not watched that movie in a
held
long time.
captive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, essentially what happens is she falls asleep and there's all these theories that like something happened because when she wakes up her stockings aren't on, but the reason her stockings weren't on is because the actress herself had an allergic reaction to them, so they were off. So if that's something you caught, which I didn't catch, then that's the reason why. But they originally wanted the Phantom to climb into the bed with her. Thank God they didn't.
Yeah, I just was like, I will never assume that he did anything with her because I refuse to believe that. I just cannot.
And honestly,
that.
I don't think, based on events that come up later, I just don't think that that's the case. He's like obsessed
with her, but he is also, I don't know, his brain is like a child.
It's
almost.
broken, yeah, and he wants her to be interested in him. He wants to be like approached. He is touching her a lot, but he doesn't like. I don't know. It's like it's weird.
I guess when she's awake, he's like, well, let's see what I can get away with.
Right. And whatever. She's kind of into it a couple times.
She is. I mean, listen, you see Gerard as the Phantom.
He is.
Oh my God.
He is a babe. Like, I get it. If I was, her frontal, like, I don't know if we've said this already, but her frontal lobe, not fully developed yet.
No.
She doesn't understand. She's dumb. I could see it being hot.
Yeah. I do think, though, and I can argue this, I don't think Christine ever had a romantic feel for the Phantom. Okay. I think it was purely, like, almost, not like a father figure, but I feel like there was this, like, control on her, and I don't know if she ever really felt romantic vibes for him, just, like, she felt like she had this need to have him like with her. But
I was wondering that too, but then there's a couple times where the facial expressions are very intense, where her eyes are kind of fluttering and he's kind of caressing her torso, where I was like,
yeah, I do think this movie tried to push that more, that there was more of a love triangle, and there is between Raoul and Phantom with Christine, but I really don't think Christine had much interest in the Phantom.
She had much interest in him either. I don't think there was much there either.
Yeah. So all this happens. Obviously, the next red flag is that he has a mannequin and diorama and all this stuff of Christine. So he's at 3, count 3, right?
Yeah. And that's if we're counting. I mean, these are way worse red flags than the Raoul one so far. Him not asking about the angel of music is a small red flag compared to the billowing, massive. Yeah,
I just had to throw Raoul in there just to make it fair.
You're being fair, you're being equitable across the board. But like, let's be honest.
Yeah, we're comparing. Raoul's a saint here. Yeah. So anyway, so she does. She wakes up in the bed, and the Phantom's like at his little organ piano thing hanging out, and she comes up to him, for some reason decides to just remove his mask.
No, there's no reason to. I mean, it's a weird thing to do.
I just like ask, it's just like for her to just come up and do it, and he freaks out, of course, and he's like, "This is what you wanted to see, huh?" And he's covering his face still, so you don't really see what his
but
face
he's
looks
also like I think he like pushed her. He has anger management problems for sure. Yeah,
he's freaking out, and then he's like starts crying a bit. He's just like upset because he's like, I've had this horrible face, and Christine's just like, okay.
Yeah, she's just like, what's happening?
Yeah, I'm scared. So he's just very dramatic, but we cut to the managers because Christine is gone. She's missing for like a day. And since she's disappeared, they don't have anyone to lead the opera. They're freaking out. Then they get a bunch of letters signed OG, Opera Ghost. And from the letters, they find out that Christine was brought back, returned. She's fine. She's just getting rest. Madame Giry has her, that bitch. The letters are like, hey, I want Christine to be in the lead role for the upcoming play. Have Carlotta play the silent role, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And she's freaking out. Carlotta's like, this is bullshit. And they're like, no, you're the best. You're going to be the lead and everyone's going to love you. And so...
Which, to be fair, like, in the song, what they're saying is essentially that they think Raoul is the one who sent all the letters because he slept with Christine and he's in love with her and just wants her to have the leading role, which I can understand. Again, if I was them, I wouldn't believe in the opera ghost either.
Right, yeah. Because, at this point, Christine now knows and Madame Giry are the only ones that know that there's a real man. Physical presence. So.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm not convinced that Christine at this point really understands that he's a real man.
That's fair. Yeah, I probably wouldn't either, honestly. I'm like, I don't know where I was led to. He might be a vampire. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm
he's
not
something other.
Yeah, he's an other. Okay, so then the day of the performance, Christine was given the silent role instead, and the Phantom's pissed about that because they're not listening to his request. So he shows up and secretly changes out Carlotta's voice spray that she, I don't know what specifically it is, but he switches it out with something
else. And I had forgotten exactly what happens at this, and I was convinced it was going to be poison.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know why I was convinced it was going to be poison. It ends up being like, not that. I don't know how this spray works the way it does, but...
Yeah, I don't know. It makes her, like, crack horribly, so she sounds like a frog almost when she's starting to hit some of the higher notes. So that's happening live during the show, which causes the managers to close the curtains and be like, hey, instead, Christine's going to be playing the role, the lead role, haha. And so they're, like, panicking, switching things around. They have some of the ballet dancers come out and do a dance from Act 3. While they're switching things up. In the rafters, there's one of the techie guys. I don't know what they're called back in the day, but...
Stagehand. I Googled it. Because I didn't either. I'm just such an old person. Or actually young person, I guess.
Yeah, I was just like tech?
Yeah.
That guy. He ends up seeing the Phantom up in the rafters. And so they're having this little chasing scuffle, and the Phantom ends up grabbing the guy and puts a noose around his neck and hangs him in front of everyone. He drops onto the stage. So that's another red flag from the Phantom. Just openly murdering someone in front of
Openly murdering. And Travis was like, why did he murder him? And I was like, I think it's because he saw him and knew he existed. And Travis was like, so do a few other people.
I do think that that's part of it. Like, he just wants to kind of keep this persona.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's easier. That's what I think it has to be, but it's a pretty messed up decision.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was dramatic.
0 to 100. Yeah.
Hey, they didn't listen to him. And they didn't have his little special seat open for him.
No,
so
they didn't.
That's two things they did wrong.
He's got to have a special
He's got to have a special booster seat.
Yeah.
So, then...
Also, if they are always leaving something empty for him to watch in it, does no one ever see that there's an actual person in the booth, the box? It's not like it's...
I don't know. I don't know if he shows up in different disguise.
Yeah, he's just like looking over the balcony.
He's like behind the curtain, just watching. I don't know how that works, but he's just a silly guy. This whole movie's silly. It's great.
So silly.
So then Christine's freaking out, of course. She's frightened. She's running to the rooftop. Raoul's pursuing her.
Yeah.
And at this point, he doesn't believe in the Phantom as well. She's freaking out. She's like, he's after me. He's doing this, this, and this. And he's like, no, that's fake.
Bitch.
So I'm like, okay, kind of red flag that you're not.
No, I agree. That was, for me, when I heard that, I was like, hardcore red flag. That is an ick for him.
Yeah,
she's
for sure.
Genuinely scared, and he's telling her there's nothing to be afraid of. When a man just fell from the rafters with a noose around his neck. Like, that's like, scary.
What do you think? And
like,
then,
do you think someone just did that, like, publicly? Just because? Like...
So he further gaslights her by being like, I will forever be by your side and love you after he tells her, you're lying.
Right. Right.
And the
right.
song, All I Ask of You starts. It is my favorite song from the play.
Is it?
It is. Yes. It's so romantic.
I just feel
I'm
like
obsessed with it.
It's a great song. I just think that nothing can hit the same chord as like that power ballad that is Phantom of the Opera. But
it's true. I think that one's the best song. But
right.
This one's
but
my
this is your favorite. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
It's I'm obsessed with it. Anyway, it's really sweet. It's
I
him
thought
and
for
Christina
sure
Rowell.
you were gonna start singing it, so I'm actually surprised. You surprised me today.
Look at me.
I know.
They're singing on the rooftop, and it's just all about them being in love. And the Phantom is behind a gargoyle, and he's just like, "What? What?"
Dude, he like grabs the rose that she left her and like crumples it in his fist.
This whole scene's so funny. So,
oh my God.
Not only is he crying about it, another favorite part of the scene is when Raoul and Christine are heading out, and she's like, "Oh, we'll get a carriage, we'll do this," and all Raoul says in response is, "Christine, I love you." I'm just like, he didn't even answer her question. Like, it's okay. Okay, that's cool. And yeah, so the Phantom is freaking out. He's getting real pissy. He's like, you'll rule the day, Christine. And it's like, okay, so that's another red flag where he thinks Christine owes him love for grooming her.
Yeah,
So.
that's not fair. You don't, that's not how it works.
No. So then we skip a few months ahead, and the Opera House is doing well. They haven't had any incidents since, and they're holding a masquerade to celebrate.
So fun. Yeah.
And I remember the Broadway version of Masquerade, and it was so good. Oh, and I still love this in the movie, but I'm like, dude, the Broadway was so good.
Yeah, we're gonna have to talk more about the Broadway at the end because it ruined me.
It really did ruin me.
It did, unfortunately.
Yeah. So then Christine and Raoul are there, and they're secretly engaged, and she has the ring on her necklace.
Yeah, it's not so secret because there's a
giant ring,
engagement ring dangling right in the middle of her cleavage. Like everyone's looking right there, dude.
And Raoul's like, "Why does that have to be secret?" And she's like, "Just for now, it's a secret."
Yeah. Right.
So.
Right.
Okay.
And obviously she's afraid that the Phantom's gonna find out and get angry, which, like...
Not wrong.
Not wrong.
So, they're all dancing at the masquerade party, and then the Phantom shows up in this fire outfit. This slays. It's like the red mask of death, and he has the skeleton mask with the red.
I loved the skeleton mask. Was so metal, dude.
It's hot. This look...
Yeah, it's great.
Hot. And he's just like, "Oh, hello, everyone's having a good time. I have a new play for you guys. It's called Don Juan." He has like the script.
Yes.
And he's pretty much like, "Follow my instructions or bad things will happen."
Yeah, and he starts singing, and Christine is like, you know, in the movies where there's like the snake charmer sort of where he starts singing and she just starts following, and I'm like, girl, what is happening?
He really has this like control over her.
Yeah.
It's like crazy.
Which, to be fair, he has been grooming her for 10 years. So
yeah, no, there is like a bond. Like it is. This person to her has been there since she was young.
Since she was devastated at the loss of her father and now an orphan and living in an unknown place and all alone, and the last connection to her dad, because this is the angel of music, and he is very clearly taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and he's done, helped her get to like where she is. So she's like, well, I owe so much to him. I owe everything to him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's taking advantage of that. But anyway, he's like, I want Christine to play the lead, of course. And he ends up taking the ring from her necklace. Like, he pulls it off. It's like, I'm taking this. So he knows. Not slick.
What the hell?
Yeah. And he skedoodles out of there.
I don't understand that whole thing, though, because it's like, it's not your ring, dude. You can't just take someone's ring. That doesn't unengage them.
Unengaged,
Could
idiot.
you imagine if that's all it took? It's like all of a sudden you're like, oh, not getting married anymore.
Raoul's rich. He could just get another one easily. So, But it's for the drama, I guess. Just
Yeah.
to, I guess, prove to Christine. He's like, I know exactly what's going on, girl.
Yeah. Yep.
So then Raoul confronts Madame Giry. He's like, tell me what the fuck you know about this guy.
Yeah.
Because now it is foolproof. The Phantom's a real dude, right?
Yes.
Man,
yeah, now I believe Christine.
Yeah. Now I believe my
I
future
saw
wife.
it. Yep.
Oh, thanks, Raoul. Bastard. So Madame Giry's like, okay, I'll tell you. And basically when she was young in her little ballet troupe, they went to this
Yep.
horrifying fucking carnival.
God.
And it was so scary. I don't know why they would bring ballet
That's not
group.
fun.
So, in one of the rooms.
Well, part of it is because, I mean, back then in the 1800s,
That's fair.
being a ballerina was not, you know, the level of artistry we see it as today. It was considered just entertainment. It was at the same, probably at the same level, the people themselves as the carnival. So it was a really, it was not a good position to be in. It was not, you know,
right.
wasn't a great time for ballerinas. Or
So,
anybody.
for anyone. So they go into this one room and it's like the devil's child and there's a cage and there's this little boy in there with his bag over his head,
So
and
sad.
the guy goes in there and rips the bag off and everyone's like laughing and
does
screaming
that?
at this poor kid's face.
Yeah, and like
It's horrible, and
awful.
he has like a little monkey with the symbol, so that's
Yeah,
you know,
his
kind of a
toy.
connection. And then so Madame Giry's the only one that's upset about this.
Yeah.
Everyone's
Everyone else is
leaving.
heartless. Yeah.
And the kid ends up killing the guy who
Yep.
was in the
Strangles him with
Yeah.
a rope.
and so Madame Giry decides to help the kid escape and hides him in the opera house basement where he's been residing this whole time. And so based on that knowledge, that's how we know that the Phantom is much older, because Madame Giry looked like 12 maybe.
Yeah, she was young. Now she has a daughter of her own,
Yeah.
and a full-grown daughter. Much older. Much older. much older. Big age gap. And even just always the actors playing it, there's always a big age gap. I Googled it because I was like, is there an exact age range? And they say usually the age range is like, I think 20 to 30 years. Or no, 10 to 30 years of an age gap between Christine and the Phantom is the usual. He's usually portrayed between 30 and 50 years old at the time of her adulthood-ish.
Gross.
Super icky.
So now Raoul knows all that, and then he talks to the manager. They're all like, hey, this could be our chance to catch him, right? Let's put on this show that he wants,
No.
however he wants it,
No.
and we'll take him
No,
down.
that's not what you do. That's not what you do. You know what you do? You with all your freaking millions of francs. I know you have millions of francs.
Yes.
You take your lovely Christine and you leave.
Yeah.
You leave.
Yeah. And so this is our third Raoul red flag, where Christine does not want to participate at all. She's
Yes.
freaking out. She's like, if I do this, I fear he's going to take me away from you. And Raoul's like, well, like, it's fine. And it's like, dude, come on.
It's
I'm sure there's other ways.
That was his biggest red flag of all, where I was like, Mister.
Yeah, because his
up.
argument is he's going to haunt them forever, which by the end, yes, the Phantom probably would have followed them. So technically Raoul was right, but he's in the basement.
I mean, okay,
Tell me
listen.
you can't send a bunch of police or just
Dude,
blow up the
it is-
basement.
It is the 1800s. It is so easy to start a new life. You don't have social security numbers.
Yeah.
You don't have any of this.
Go to America, wherever.
Start anew. That's what I would do. I would start. He's not going to be able to find you. Like, you leave, you pack up all your stuff, you leave and go. He's not going to know what's going to happen. Pull one, get out. GTFO, goodbye forever.
Yep. Well, this doesn't happen. Christine is like, okay, I'll do it. You don't have to do it, Christine. So
No.
Christine
Just say
decides
no.
to go, visit her father's grave, and wants to kind of know what she should really do. And this was my deleted thing, because I just think it's boring.
Yeah, it was
I don't give a
unnecessary.
fuck.
Yeah, except for there is a part of this scene.
Yes. And it's okay. So Raoul was sleeping in front of Christine's door, and she sneaks away. All he's wearing is this loose white V-neck top.
This slutty.
With his tight little pants, and he gets on a white horse
God.
and rides to go find her because he's scared. He's like, the Phantom something's happening to her. Can't keep her out of my sight. And he's just like chasing her in like the woods.
Dude,
it's so unnecessary. It's so hot.
This shirt is like,
oh my god.
It should be framed on a wall somewhere.
Oh.
It is incredible. I was just entranced with his shirt during this scene. It was beautiful.
Yes, a beautiful scene, and I would just watch that.
Let's bring back billowy white shirts. Can we just do that?
Yeah.
Billowy white shirts and tight pants, like. Why is it the other way around? Devin's gonna knock herself out, nodding.
High-waisted, tight little pants.
Oh my god, I don't need a tight shirt and baggy bottoms.
No, the loose shirt.
Yes.
I would not survive in the Regency area.
No.
I would have been a slut.
Yeah. You also would have looked so good on the Empire waist dresses too.
Oh no, you think so?
Oh my god, I know so. You would have been popping. You would look so good. Yeah, I mean,
stupid. We would just date each other.
There we go.
They were best friends.
Yeah, we would be written in the history books as they lived together as besties forever. Mm-hmm. You know it.
Of course. So, Christine is singing, and then the Phantom is there. But he's trying to trick Christine into thinking
that is, like, super creepy.
Yeah, it's like her father kind of calling her.
Yeah.
And luckily, Raoul shows up and is like, no. And there's a sword fight between him and the Phantom. And I'm like, whoa, hot.
Yeah.
And
it is.
Raoul knocks him down and is gonna go to kill him, and Christine's like, no, don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
That would have solved everything.
I mean, honestly though, it's 1870. What's gonna happen? You know, what's
It's
the worst? He already killed a man.
Yes.
He's ruining your life. You don't know what's gonna happen next, and it gets really bad.
She could have avoided doing this play, and they could have just lived happy. I don't know. Whatever.
I don't either.
So, like I said, he has this hold on Christine. So
yeah, he does.
Anyway, they leave the Phantom there, and the Phantom's like, I'm gonna get revenge. I'm mad now. So, the performance of the Don Juan show finally comes. And so, they have police in the area, in the opera house, to be ready for when he shows up. Christine is... she comes onto stage and starts singing. Backstage, the main actor named Pyonji?
Yeah.
Right? So he's getting ready to come on the stage when the Phantom takes him and kills him and takes his place. So now,
did he kill him? He killed him. Oh, yes, he did. He killed him. Yes, you're right.
Red flag. So
could have saved Pyonji's life.
Could have saved Pyonji.
Christine.
So this is where things get really stupid. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to explain the Broadway version of this for people. So, no one's supposed to realize that the Phantom took the role from Pyonji. The character is wearing this fully covered robe. His face is covered completely. So, on stage, when Christine and him are singing and performing, she has no idea it's the Phantom. And this whole scene is very erotic. The scene between them, it's like they want each other, but they shouldn't. And it's so gross for the Phantom to write this.
Yes.
It's his own little fantasy. God. And so they're touching up on each other. Yeah, it really is a fanfic. And then she doesn't realize it until he starts singing All I Ask of You. And she realizes who it is and unmasks him. And then everyone's panicking. They're like, oh my god, he was on stage the whole time.
Meanwhile, Raoul is crying in his opera box.
Well, that's the movie one.
Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because it really doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So the movie, right?
Yeah.
The movie, the Phantom still takes the place of Pyonji's role.
Yeah.
He shows up like as himself.
Yeah.
In this tiny mask that doesn't cover
Yeah.
his deformed face somehow.
No.
So everyone sees this man and knows he's the Phantom, especially like Raoul, who's waiting for the Phantom to show up. He
Right.
sees the Phantom on stage singing with Christine
And just
and just watches it happen.
freaking crying. Dude.
It's Christine singing, and it's an erotic song, and
Yeah.
no one's doing anything. And I'm
No.
like, why are they letting this happen?
I know. They could have
And I will
stopped it.
I will say this is my most memorable because this scene
Yeah.
is ingrained in me. It was so hot. Like, those two together, oh my
Yeah.
god. Like,
Yeah. It was. Yeah,
and
for sure.
I know why they wanted the Phantom to be himself because he looked really good.
Yeah.
But it
of
just
course.
doesn't make sense. at
No,
all.
it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. They should have at least had Pyonji look more like him, so that it made
Yeah,
more
something a
sense
little
for it
different.
to. Yeah, it makes so much more sense in the Broadway play, and
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's cool. You know, they got like fake fire and the tango dancers in the back, and
Yeah,
they're going
like
up the
that.
steps together, and they're just like, past the point of no return.
There
We're
you
gonna
go.
have sex
Now
now.
she's singing. Okay.
Yeah, she's into it, and Raul's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck, Christine?
Mhm.
And so
Yeah.
the best part of this is they're singing, and the Phantom's like holding all up on Christine
Yes.
and rubbing her up, and then he starts singing the "All I Ask of You,"
Yeah.
and at that point she's like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, dude.
And
How
then
did you?
takes
Like, dude, come on.
takes his mask off, and then suddenly half his face is deformed, even though he had a tiny
Right.
mask that
Yeah,
didn't show
exactly.
that.
That's the thing where I was like, come on, you guys. At least do the half mask that like actually covers the deformity. That doesn't make any sense.
there's a
He
reason why he
suddenly-
wears.
he goes from not scarred to fully scarred.
So at this point, everyone's like, "Oh my god, he's deformed! Get him!"
Right.
So that's what it feels like.
Right.
And all right, so he takes her down to his lair, and
Mm-hmm.
people are freaking out. The theater catches on fire. The chandelier's falling and killing people. It's a shit show.
Yeah.
So the Phantom brings Christine down to his little bedroom, and he has the ring that he took from her and gives it to her as if she's
God.
gonna be like, "Oh yeah, let's get married
Yeah.
after that."
Well, I want to be with you forever now.
Oh yeah, I love you. So he's like, you should stay with me. And
Yeah, he's basically like, look, you unmasked me. This is what you're stuck with for the rest of your life.
Yes!
I hope you're happy.
congrats. He's
Yeah.
such a big baby.
He is such a big baby. He needs to take some courses on self-love.
Oh
He
my
needs to,
God.
I
Like,
don't
listen,
know, go see a therapist.
I know you had a lot of trouble growing up, but it's like his face ain't even that bad. It's not like the Broadway.
No,
Broadway
that's-
looks pretty rough, but this,
Yeah, this version is not that
you know
bad,
what? I
honestly.
can get with that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. And even Christine's like, honestly, your face isn't the problem.
Yes. It's you, babe. It's your soul.
Yes, you're rotten.
So Raoul has Madame Jiri take him towards the Phantom's lair. She takes him about halfway. She's like,
And
I'm not
she-
going anywhere further.
Yeah. And there's this line that keeps being repeated is keep your hand up to the level of your eyes because
Yeah.
of the fact that he's a strangler. That's his MO. Just
Specialty.
say it, Madam Jerry. Keep your hand up so you don't die of being choked.
Yeah, like, listen, all these boys are a little dumb, all right? Raoul
Yeah.
himself is like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, I'll
doesn't get
I'll
it.
do it, and then he
Sure.
doesn't do it.
And then
Yeah.
doesn't do it. So he, like, almost dies, falling into this
Yep.
trap. And,
I would have died.
oh, I would have died. That would have been it for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have found the little lever he finds, and then I definitely wouldn't
And
have
to
been
be
able
strong
to turn
enough
it.
to turn
No.
it. Yeah. Nope, that would have been it for me.
Yeah.
But he survives. He ends up seeing Christine and the Phantom. He calls out to her. And so the Phantom goes up to Raoul and ends up tying him up
Yeah.
because Raoul's dumbass didn't keep his hands up
Nope.
on his head. So he ties Raoul up to the cage. And the Phantom, this is the final red flag for the Phantom.
Yep.
He tells Christine she can either stay with the Phantom and Raoul goes free, or she goes away and Raoul will die.
Right,
So
like
that's all the choice he gives her.
right, and Raoul's like, you really want her to be forced to say that she wants to be with you?
Yeah, he's like, what are you, stupid?
Right, like, it's not because she wants to, right?
Yeah.
But he has
And
2 brain cells and they do not interact much.
No. I'll say Raoul looked pretty good tied up. He
And
still has that white
like
shirt.
all wet, you know?
Yeah, it's like sewage water.
He's like radioactive now.
Yeah, he's definitely got some disease from that.
Yeah, for sure.
So Christine's upset, obviously, but she ends up choosing to stay with the Phantom because she loves Raoul and wants him to live. So she goes up to the Phantom and kisses him a lot. I would not.
Yeah,
I'd have been like a
hardcore
peck.
makes out with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess she wanted to prove it.
Right, and it proved it.
Yeah, because then he starts crying. And he's just
Yeah.
like, just go. Just take him and
Yes.
go.
Yeah.
So I guess he finally understood what love and compassion
Yeah.
truly is.
Yes.
Congrats. So he does let them go. Christine ends up giving the ring back to the Phantom.
I don't understand this at all. Why? It was never his ring. It was
No.
Raoul's ring from the beginning.
Like I said,
Raoul
I
gave it to you.
think the movie tried to like add some little points of
Yeah.
like maybe there's a romance, but it's like
No,
I don't know.
there's not. She obviously feels bad for him. It doesn't make any
Right.
sense for him to have that ring. Also, that's worth a lot of money, dude. There's so many diamonds in it.
It's a big ring, yeah.
Yeah.
So they end up leaving in the little boat. The Phantom destroys the mirrors and he's upset.
It is kind of funny to watch them just float away
Yeah.
on this boat, like Venice style.
Guess the horse is gonna be there too to
Yeah,
take
to
him the rest
take
of the
him
way.
away.
So he ends up escaping through the secret passage before the mob shows up. Meg also shows up down there.
Yeah,
and
she's
finds...
in pants and she looks great.
Yeah, I was like, okay, girl.
Yeah, work
Love
it.
She finds his mask. She's like, whoa. And then we swap back to the black and white, the future, I guess, where we see the old man.
1900s. Yeah.
We find out it's Raoul. He bought the little music box. What?
What?
And he puts
Also,
it on.
why would he want that freaking music box? Whatever.
I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
Christine apparently described it well. Of all things,
Yeah, I guess. Of all the
that would have been the last
things.
thing I remembered from that fucking hell
Yeah.
room. I would have been like, oh, he had
Yeah.
a mannequin of me. Find that.
Yeah,
Option
and
that.
burn it.
It's probably a hole in it.
Please.
So,
Disgusting.
he puts the little music box on her grave. She's passed away. And he sees that there's a rose with a black ribbon tied around it, which is the Phantom's
And
trademark.
the ring is on the rose
Yes.
too.
So it shows that the Phantom
Yeah.
was still stalking her.
And we also get confirmation of her age, which is 16 at the time of this happening. She was 16.
I thought they said that she was like 20.
Nope. There was no fathom. I think she was born in 54 and it takes place in 70. Yeah. Yeah.
Nasty.
So icky.
Yeah.
And even the actors themselves were much older than Emmy.
Oh, girl. Yeah. Because they were in their 30s, I think,
30s.
both.
They were in their 30s, and she was 17.
It's not the first or last time Hollywood does this, but
No.
every time it is disgusting.
Yeah, and I read somewhere that they tried to age up and make Patrick Wilson look older. Like, what? That doesn't make sense.
He's supposed to be the same age as her.
Right. I don't know. That has to be wrong.
Anyway, so that is the movie.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's how it
Mhm.
ends.
Yeah.
And yeah, so after all that, it is really, truly amazing that there are people who root for the Phantom.
Yeah.
Because-
I genuinely don't know how. Because after I watched the Broadway, I was like, oh, I'm a Raoul girly, actually.
Raoul was fine. The actor, oh my god.
Yes. So good.
Raoul was a good man. Like I said, he has some
Yes.
flaws,
Yeah,
but like,
he does, but it's also the 1870s,
I was
and
gonna say-
they don't think women have rights anyway. So
yeah, he does love her.
right,
He ended up he got that stupid monkey at the auction for
Yeah.
her
right,
for no reason. So
yeah. I don't know how the Phantom was ever even in the running. I genuinely
it was Gerard, girl.
had to have been.
It was Gerard because I was a Phantom at first, and
Yeah,
I was
clearly
obsessed with him.
I genuinely have not seen this movie since my childhood. Like,
Really?
since I was young. Yeah.
Oh my god, this was on repeat for me constantly.
I believe you.
Yeah.
It's a little too close to the horror realm for me to put this on repeat. Do you know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah, it's a lot. But yeah, I was obsessed with Gerard Butler, and then there was a switch. I don't remember when it happened. I want to say I had to be close to my 20s. In my 20s.
It had to be the date that your brain stopped developing, and it was just like, we're done.
It truly had to be, because I was like, Raoul.
Yeah, my friend.
There's something about that guy.
Something about him, and there's a lot of problems with the Phantom.
Yeah, and he was just like a guy, you know. If he was like a vampire or something, it'd be like,
right.
Maybe...
You know, if
okay,
you were undead,
issues,
like,
yeah. Okay.
But...
I could see it, but
yeah,
it wasn't that. He was just a guy, very troubled man, and I do feel bad for him. I do feel bad for him.
I do, but there's a level of acceptance of what has happened in your life and choosing not to commit murder multiple times.
It's wild to me that Madame Giry didn't try to help this man at all. I assume not, because I would have been like,
right? That's the thing. So
child.
she just dumped him in there and then was like, this is where you live now. Goodbye forever. There are things that she could have done to help him become a more well-rounded individual. And when he was wearing a mask, he looked like nobody was going to be like, oh, what's up with this guy? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, you know, Beauty and the Beast type of thing.
Right. Like,
fall in love for who you are inside.
Exactly. He could have definitely found someone. His deformities were not significant. It was, you know, he had a little bit of a droopy eye and some scarring and a little bit of a bump on his scalp, okay? But like,
can you imagine the theater having this guy who's this amazing singer who like wears a mask all the time, like the mystery behind that?
Yes.
The
everyone
money.
would go nuts for it. Are you kidding me? He would definitely have died from syphilis, like really young, okay?
I think Madame Giry is the true villain.
She really is. I honestly have so many issues with her and what she did to poor Christine. She knew what was happening. She knew she was being groomed. She knew that the Phantom was all icked up on her, and she did nothing.
Oh, I would not.
This woman, she considered her daughter.
The second I found, if Christine was like, "Oh, Angel's music is talking to me," I'd be like, "Oh yeah, oh."
Say it again. Say it again. Let me. Phantom! Whose name is actually Eric, by the way. Yeah. In the book, his name is Eric.
Eric.
Eric with a K.
What are you doing?
Right. Stay away from the child. The child, Eric. The child. Where's Chris Hansen? We need the 1870s Chris Hansen.
Literally what Brett said too. Yeah. Oh my god, it's so icky. Oh.
Yeah, it's when she said she'd been there since her father died at age 7, I was like, I have to turn this movie off. I can't keep watching it. Like, there's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
The movie's still good. I was unsure how I was gonna like it again, because like I said, I hadn't watched it since I watched the Broadway version. Yeah. And I still enjoyed it. There's a lot of like weirdness, and it's not perfect. I would love a reboot.
They could
another
redo
rendition
this so well. Like,
oh my god,
legitimately, if they did a Wicked, like, can we just have the same emotion, passion of Wicked in all of the Broadway musicals, starting with Phantom? That would be great.
I could see them doing. I can see them doing a new version. I hope
so. They're just, all they're doing is remakes anyway. They don't know how to make anything new.
Yeah, and with how big Wicked was, like,
right, do it.
Someone out there's gonna be like, yes.
Yeah.
So
I will be honest with you. My rating of this is gonna be a lot lower.
Okay. All right.
This does not hold a candle to the Broadway. It doesn't hold a candle.
It doesn't.
And it's not fair for me to compare a movie to the Broadway. It's not. But yeah. I was ruined. I was ruined, and
I think I was nicer to it. And it might be because of nostalgic reasons. Like, I have watched this movie so many times, and I was like, there are issues with it, but I was like, the singing's not the worst, but I wish if Christine and the Phantom were casted better, I think this movie would have been tons better just from that alone. I really like Patrick Wilson's voice. I love his voice is so dreamy. It's not powerful like opera, but it's like really, really nice. Everyone else sounded really good.
Yeah, Minnie Driver is the only one who didn't sing her own lines and was dubbed over, but that's because they had a real opera singer singing her lines. So what's funny is Minnie Driver is actually classically trained. She knows how to sing, but the whole thing behind that is just that she didn't know how to sing opera, and so that's why.
Yeah, but yeah, and then the whole like point of no return scene is so goofy, but God, the scene is hot.
Which
the point of no return, where like Christine and the Phantom are singing together at the end.
Oh, sorry. Yes, of course. Yeah, it's definitely hot. But I couldn't handle the Raoul crying part. That was so dumb.
No, it was so dumb. And like it just, except every scene where I'm like, oh, this was really well done, it's still somehow better in the Broadway.
Yeah,
so it's
you literally can't compete with it. You really can't. And I think that the movie's never going to be better than the book. So the movie's never going to be better than the Broadway play. But what we saw with Wicked is that not that it's better, but that it can compete. It can compete, actually.
And it can add.
Yes. Yeah. And so that's what I want. And I don't think it's a lot to ask for.
No.
And I feel like I need to rewatch all my old musicals that I watched years and years ago and see how I feel.
How they hold up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Chicago,
I'm pretty lenient.
I think
no, Chicago's still good.
Yeah, it's gotta be.
Chicago's
There's no way it isn't.
Yeah, that one's very good. I think Chicago, Hairspray, I will say Grease, but Grease itself is problematic, but I think the movie version still is like really good.
Yeah, Grease is always gonna be problematic.
Dramatic.
Systematic.
Grease lightning. All right. Anyway, I was gonna ask you, do you know anything about the second Love Never Dies? Which is like
no, I don't. I saw some things. Tell me about it. I was assuming that you knew.
Yeah. So
there's a lot of people who like it more.
Yeah, you know who those people are? Phantom girlies.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Because I saw that the Phantom was in it with Christine, and I was like, what the
Yeah, basically, like, Christine the Phantom have, like, a one-night thing.
Shut the hell
up.
Why?
Her child is, like, the Phantom's child. Yeah, and Raoul ends up being a gambler, alcoholic, asshole. And I was like,
God.
Bro,
come on. Christine ended up with the person she loved and lived a happy life with children. Let's ruin it. Let's ruin it. Let's make her bang her predator, and her husband's actually a piece of garbage. And
Yep. And she like dies. She dies. I forget how she dies, and so the Phantom has to like, I think ends up raising the kid. I don't forget at the end, but I know she dies.
Did Phantom raise the kid? That's gonna be the most troubled youth you've ever seen in your life.
He's like way better now, apparently.
Christine's kiss fixed him. He doesn't murder anymore. Yeah. Dude, I genuinely can't imagine. I genuinely can't imagine sleeping with someone who had taken a life. Like, how do you feel safe in that bed?
You have to watch like a break, like an explanation of it, just like on YouTube. It's so stupid. The one song is really good. It's the one the Phantom sings. I think it's called Love Never Dies. It is really good. But yeah, the whole show is just batshit. It feels like fan fiction. Like it's not legit. So
was it written by Andrew Lloyd Webber?
Yep.
What the fuck? What's he doing? What
the fuck?
It's not canon. We're not gonna let it be canon.
I refuse. I know people can change, but like I refuse to believe that any of that would happen.
No. Not without therapy. Not without a lot of therapy. Not without like daily 8 hours a day therapy for maybe 5 to 6 years. You took multiple people's lives because you were just mad.
Yeah. Pissy boy.
No. You don't get to be a person now.
And then they do that to my Raoul.
I know. Come on. He did nothing wrong. He did some things wrong, but he did.
He's mostly a gentleman.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me a man who sings that song to me on the rooftop is going to end up ruining my life like that?
No,
he would not.
Only some good singers are bad people. You know what I mean? Like, they're not.
All right. Do you have any facts for me?
Okay. I do. So, the
Chandelier
that was made by Tiffany's. Nope, just kidding.
Oh gosh.
The chandelier, not Tiffany's. The chandelier was made by Swarovski.
Oh gosh. Okay.
So it weighed over 2.2 tons and cost roughly $1 million to make.
Ooh, wow. Okay.
Yep. And so obviously, that's very hefty, very impressive. They were not going to have the chandelier do the chandelier thing at the end because that would be insane. So it had a stunt double. And that stunt double, the sound of the chandelier crashing was recorded from the stage show, from one of the stage shows that they did. I did see some fun fact somewhere, and I don't know if this is true, but someone said that Gerard Butler had to put butt pads on to like goof up a little bit. I don't believe it. I think he's probably got a great tush. You know what I mean?
Butt. I'm trying to think of 300.
I wasn't staring at it the whole time, but
Did you watch 300?
Yeah, but I fell asleep during it. It was when I was 17. I was very young.
Yeah, I think she's naked in that, right? At least once.
And I fell asleep? What the hell?
Yeah, girl, what? You fall asleep at 17 during the movie 300 where, like, everyone's naked?
Yeah, that's
Who were you?
Maybe I didn't fall asleep. Maybe
you blacked out.
I blacked it out. I just went into a fugue state. So, something that I found on Reddit that I was just like really surprised by, so I had to bring up. Apparently, there was this big fan theory back in 2004 when the movie came out, where this person came up with what they called the hidden plot, and it was this idea that there was a secret plot hidden in the movie that was shown specifically through various lights, like slicing, like cinematography, lighting, clothing, things like that. So this is what it says, that Eric, aka the Phantom, is literally the king of music. And Christine is the queen of music. And that the Phantom is not who Eric is, but it's an evil spirit that possesses Eric sometimes. Okay. And Raoul is the priest of light and Eric's brother.
Whoa, okay.
Ooh, and somehow they save Eric from the clutches of the evil spirit. And yeah, that's essentially...
How the fuck did they get that?
Dude, there's something where it says like this Reddit essentially went super deep into everything they remembered from the fan theory, but there's moments where the light hits the Phantom's chest, showing where his heart should be. And
dude,
I was like, someone watched this 400 times in a row and really wanted the Phantom to be a good guy.
Yeah, that's insane.
Nuts. So nuts. So that was unbelievable. So you're gonna be so disappointed. The final lair scene, Gerard was supposed to be shirtless, and they didn't do it. I know. Take it up with Andrew Lloyd Webber. I don't know why they didn't do it. Yeah,
that's really upsetting.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
You should have never told me that.
Yeah, I know.
Can you imagine him shirtless next to a tied up drenched Raoul?
No, because then everyone would have been standing the two of them together, and they would have been like, let's get the Phantom
Christine
and
would have been
Raoul.
like,
Christine, yeah.
I have an idea.
Oh, God. Okay, so this is kind of weird.
Okay.
So the actor who is the portrait of Christine's dad is a photograph of the actor Ramin Karimloo. Okay. And he on stage played Raoul and the Phantom in different iterations. So he's the only human.
Oh, wow.
The only man who's ever been all three important men in Christine's life.
Holy
and
shit.
there was a Reddit post where someone was like, no wonder Christine was confused.
That's wild. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Patrick Wilson did his own stunts, so that sword work was all him, you know?
Look at him. Even in the water and stuff?
I guess. I mean, I don't know. It was IMDb. Maybe it's lying.
I can see him doing his own stunts.
See. Yeah, why not? Why not?
White guys love doing that.
Yes. Yeah. I could do it.
They got something to prove.
Put me in, coach.
Tom Cruise, please stop jumping off of airplanes.
Oh, God. That's probably going to be how he goes one day. He's, like,
Dude.
not going to die a natural death. He's definitely going to...
Yeah, every Mission Possible, I'm like, please stop.
Terrifying. Anyway, yeah, so that's the movie. I would give it, so my rating for the movie is a 3.
A 3? Wow, okay.
3. Yeah. I just
much
feel
nicer
like...
than you.
I know, I believe it. I knew you would. And I was like, this is going to be one of the few times you have a higher rating on a romance than me.
Yeah.
It was too icky. The Broadway was just so much better. And I think I'm a different person than when I first watched it.
Yeah. You know, I am proud of your growth.
Thank you.
I really am.
Thanks. You know what? And I'm proud of your ungrowth. You know what I mean? Just like your stagnancy. I love that for you.
I haven't changed much. Here I'm like, Phantom's gross, but then every other minute I'm like, he was so fine in that scene.
I know. The amount of times you've talked about how sexy he is, like, girl, we get it. You like Gerard. Okay.
Sorry. So I'll go through my smash.
Yeah.
Main character, so I'm going to pass on Christine because she was 17.
Yeah, she's way too young. Mm-hmm.
No, I'll smash everyone else.
Yeah, but we're going to assume everyone else, above.
Yeah. So Phantom Raoul.
we all know Patrick Wilson is in a third.
Yeah.
So,
listen, Phantom's got his issues, but I'm sorry, I can't.
Girl, you would?
Mask on.
Girl, shut up. No, you wouldn't. After you saw his mannequin, the mannequin. You saw the mannequin and you were like, I'll take it. Dude, he's gonna chain you up in that basement.
Because before, you would say, it's not about who they are, it's just how they look. But now I'm like, how they look, yeah, I would. And you're like, but Demi. So, contradictory.
Okay, you know what? You're right. If it's a protected one night only situation where he's not gonna take you and...
I'm literally Christine and the second Broadway show where she has the one night with Phantom, and then...
All right, fine. It's a lot, but fine. If we're just doing looks, fine. All right. You're right.
Okay. Fall in love. I said with Raoul an 8.
Okay.
I would most likely be down to clown. There were only a little things where I would be like, but Phantom is no.
Zero? Negative?
0. It is 0.
Yeah.
Not happening.
No.
Recommend. I said no because it is an opera musical and I just, would not recommend it to everyone. Mm-hmm. I gave it a 4. I was thinking of giving it like 3.7-ish just because of the weird issues with the age gap and stuff. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a 4 because I think it's pretty good. It's decent, and there's still a lot that I like about it, even though it's goofy and has some silly moments.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is my rating. So.
All right. Cool.
Good
That's
old
Phantom of the Opera. Damn.
Phantom of the Opera.
What a movie.
What?
Yeah, this is gonna take me 4 years to edit.
I'm so sorry.
I just looked at the time. I was like, Jesus. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So for the next episode, we actually were invited to guest on the podcast Open and Kill, and we reviewed Lisa Frankenstein with them, and so we will be releasing that episode for you guys to listen to on our podcast. And
it was a lot of fun. We had a really, really good time. I was nervous about podcasting with other people who weren't Demi, but it was good. It was really enjoyable. Yeah,
and they accommodated us by giving us a horror and romance movie, which is really
seriously,
cool.
They were so... The one host, Brian, was like, this is very unlike what we usually do. And I was like, thank you so much for being so kind to me. So I very much appreciate it.
So that's really exciting. So that'll be our next episode.
That'll be the next one. And we'll catch you next week.
Catch you on the flip side.
Yep. So lame. All right. Bye, guys.